This is the third lesson in the HTML and CSS unit of work. Now what we'll have a look at over the next few moments is remember what CSS is and how it works. We're going to understand what a div tag is and what they're used for. We're going to understand how to add divisions to a web page, and then understand how that we can apply different CSS code to these different divisions. Now here's an example web page. We've got some code on the left, and you can see that down the bottom between the body tags we've got HTML code. We've got a heading tag with the word cheese in between. We've got a paragraph tag with the words this page is all about cheese, and then we've got an image tag which takes an image from a web address. Now the web page itself looks very different than what it would do normally because it's got some CSS that's been applied to it. And the CSS has been applied inside these style tags which are between the head tags. And you can see here that the body has had its own bit of CSS code whereby the background color has been set to aqua. The heading 1 tags has had some CSS code where the font size has been a little bit larger. We've got yellow text and a different font. And again, the paragraph tag and the image tag have both got their own bit of CSS, their own bit of styling. And that's why the page looks like it does. So CSS code can style the HTML tags, improving the presentation. Now what is a div tag? Well, a div tag can be used to add divisions or sections to your web page. And it's good because what it means is that different content on your web page, if the content is in different divisions, they can each have their own styles. So here's an example where we've got 3 paragraph tags. And normally if we were to apply CSS code to a paragraph tag, that would make a global change to all of the paragraph tags on the web page. But because we've got these paragraph tags between different divisions in these div tags, and they've each got their own IDs, it means that we can actually apply styling to these paragraph tags independently. So we could add a certain style to the paragraph tag where there's the text this is section 1, and we could have different styling for the text this is section 2. So if we want to create our divisions, we create these div tags, and in the opening div tag we give it an ID, so we give it an identification name. We close the div tag, and in between we put in our HTML code for that section or for that division. So we've got section 1, we've got section 2, and we've got section 3, and at the moment all that would be in these sections is just a little bit of text. This is section 1, this is section 2, this is section 3. And with CSS we can then style each content separately. So here, before I show you what it would look like, have a think what might happen. We've got 3 paragraph tags, each in their own sections. Just on its own, the HTML code would just have 3 sentences, one after the other, and they'd all look the same. But if we look at the CSS code at the top, you can see that each section has got its own style. So section 1, hashtag hash section 1, okay, would find the division where the ID is section 1, and we've got some styling which has been applied to the paragraph tag in that section, in that division, and the font size has been set to 20. In section 2, it's the same paragraph tag, but obviously because it's in a different division, it's got its own style, and it's got its, the styling of font size being set to 50, which is larger, and then the paragraph tag in division called section 3 has got its own styling. Again, the text has been made smaller because it's got font size 5. So this is what the web page would look like. Section 1 is of a standard size, this is section 2 is much larger, and this is section 3 is much smaller. So that there is the HTML code to present the text, and then we've got the CSS code which is applied to only that text, only that paragraph tag in that particular division. And again for the second division, and again for the third division. So what we've got is we've defined a division using a div tag, and we've added an ID, and you can think of it as just a name for that particular division so we can identify it. And then up the top we've applied some CSS code to the particular tags that the division might contain, but using that hash symbol we are making sure that we're only altering the properties of the tags that is in that particular division with that particular ID. Okay, let's have a quick look then at our own IDE, and we'll see if we can build a page whereby I can show you how we can create divisions and how we can style the divisions differently. So here we are in our IDE. So if I wanted to create a division, I could open up a div tag, I could give it an ID, let's call this div1, and then of course I could close my div tag like so. In between the div tags I could add some content to the page, for example a paragraph tag. I could say this is a simple sentence like so. I could close my paragraph tag, and perhaps I could put a heading in as well. This is my heading, and I could close my heading tag. If I run the code, you can see that the heading appears up here, and then we've got the paragraph tag below. Nothing different from if we didn't have the div tags in the first place. However, what I could do is I could just very quickly copy and paste another div tag, and I could change the name of the ID of the second div tag, and I could then show you that we could actually apply styles to these separate parts of the page, or I can prove to you that they are separate parts of the page. So what we could do up the top in our style tag, we could add our CSS code. Now if I wanted to apply a style to the heading tag only in division 1, what I could do is I could use the hash symbol, I could get the name of that particular division, I could then put the tag that I want to start styling, and then between my curly brackets I could start to add some CSS code for that particular tag in that particular section. So what I could do is I could say something like font size, and I could say that I want it to be 60 pixels, and if I run that code you can see that the heading tag in div 1 and only div 1 has had that style applied to it. I could add some other code. For example, I could say that I want the text to align to the center, and perhaps I want the font color to be, let's say, blue. Nah, I just realized don't need to have font. There we go. So the color of that particular heading is now blue. So that's been applied only to that top heading. Now what I could do is I could copy that code, and beneath it I could paste, oops, where are we? Let's press the right button. I could say that on heading 2 what I want, or div 2, the heading in div 2, I'd like it to be even larger. I want it to be aligned to the right, and the color can be red. And if I run that code you can see that that has indeed happened. Okay, so we've got two heading tags, each a heading 1 tag, but they've both been styled differently because they're in different divisions. And I could do a similar thing with the paragraph tag. I could say in div 1 I want the paragraph tag to have the font size being 20 pixels, and that would make that text and that text only a little bit larger. Now what we can also do is we can apply some styles to the division itself as if it was a page. So as if we were to add a background color to the body tag, we can actually add a background color to a division, and we simply need to just use the identification of that division, so div 1, and I'm not going to write body because body is the page itself. I'm just going to leave it. There's no tag that I'm applying this style to, it's simply being applied to that particular division. And what I could do is I could say that background, let's help if I could spell it right, background color is going to be aqua, can't spell it, there we go. And you can see that only that division has got the background. I could also, if I wanted to, add a border. Let's go border, and we'll go solid, black, and we'll do 2 pixels in width. And you can see now that we've got a border around that particular division. And just to prove that the same can be done to the other div tag, if I was to change this to the ID div 2, and I said that I wanted my background color here to be yellow, and I wanted my border to be red and 5 pixels in width. Let's run that code, and you can see that that has indeed happened. So here's a quick example of how we can create div tags to create different divisions in our web page that can each contain content, the same types of tags, but because they're in different divisions, we can actually apply different styles to those particular tags depending on where they are. So we can uniquely style the same tag in different divisions. So have a little go yourself. See if you can play around with some code similar to this to create your own divisions and style the content in each division differently.